you deeply care about the community. You want to make an impact. You want to help make changes in a positive direction. It's time well spent.
Last week, you delivered your second State of the City address, and as I read it, I thought, wow, there really were a lot of positive, uplifting things that you were able to talk about last week.
Yeah, I mean, and this, not to take away from the work that we still have left to do, but to me, the State of the City is an opportunity for us to celebrate, for, like when I sat back and I thought about, like, what's the goal, right? And the first thing that really came to mind is, when you are in this line of work, and I said this at the State of the City, like, it's great to hear how much somebody cares about the community and they can talk about their feelings all day long. But when it comes down to it, when you are in this position of responsibility, people want to know three things. What did you say you were going to do? What did you actually do? And now what are you saying you're going to do next? And that's really what I wanted to focus my entire talk around is, what we said we were going to work on and accomplish in the last year. Talk about areas that we were successful and that we had good results in, and then talk about the future of what we plan to do next.
Housing and homelessness, basic needs, that was a big focus of the speech. It
was. I feel like, we did so much work in that area, and a lot of it really came together right in the last few months, so we decided that we had an obligation to try to do something about the homelessness issue. We were getting a lot of requests for help from citizens and people around the community who work in that area. And, we felt the obligation to do something. And then that's when we did the hotel project. And we recently just purchased T.A. Wilson to do a warming shelter and kind of continue that project there. So that way, we have a place for people to go, and we're looking for some partners in the community to help manage that. And then the housing crisis that we have is we've got such a great plan to address that. I mean, we already have so many great apartment complexes coming in over the next year, some that were started prior to me coming in office, some that we're still kind of trying to figure out the last pieces to make sure that they actually happen. But then, we've got 137 lots sold.
That's amazing.
To have 137 new houses built by a developer who wants to do rentals in those houses. And that's great. But what I'm more excited about is the 100 houses that the Affordable Housing Commission came up with a plan to develop. And those will be owner occupied. 60 to 80% average median income is the target customer for those houses. And we're going to provide some down payment assistance and get some families in houses. And, that's going to be a wonderful thing for the city.
What's this house? This is on Prospect, right?
So this is a new build on Prospect. This is a model, an example of the rentals that they're gonna do. So, and I think that the houses that we plan to build for owner occupied are gonna be similar houses. They're gonna be 2 to 3 family homes, and they'll be very similar to this.
It's so important, affordable housing all across the country.
It is.
And I mean, if you just look at home prices in general, it's crazy for everybody. But
it really is.
For low income, the ability to better yourself financially as an opportunity really to become a better part of the community, and it needs to happen.
It does. Yeah. It means so much different. It means so much more to a person to own something opposed to renting it, right? I think that you take much better care of things that you own than that you rent, because you're not going to be there forever. But when somebody buys their forever home, they buy a home, and then this is not just buying a home, but this is a brand new home. A brand new home for somebody. That's just so exciting to be a part of at this time. So, shout out to the Affordable Housing Commission and Corey Mays and Shane Laporte for, putting this whole thing together, and all of the community partners that it's going to take to make this successful.
One of the things you talked about during the State of the City was the south side of town, and a lot of money potentially. And I'm excited about this project. And this will be a major project.
It will. So we Man, we've done such great work over the last year, being on the Martin Luther King Corridor Authority, and we've applied for some grants. One of the major grants that we applied for is called the RISE grant, which would allow the total redevelopment of MLK from South Street down to Morrell. That's underground and above ground, meaning the streetscapes and lights and sidewalks, underground infrastructure replacement. That would be a total facelift, just that in itself.
Right.
But I mean, again, to me, I keep referring back to what happened downtown, right? When downtown had the big boom, what happened was they took care of exactly what we're talking about right now. They took care of the streets, right? They did the underground, and then they did the above ground, replaced all the underground infrastructure, replaced the entire street, redid landscapes and walkways and lighting, and then all of a sudden downtown's a whole different place. 10 years later, looking at, downtown 10 years ago, I mean, you guys know, because you guys have been here and been through the whole redevelopment of downtown.
We got our shoes dirty during that road.
I know you did. I know you did. Some people's pathways had to be lit with candles because it was just nothing out there when they were right in the midst of it, right? And that's really the transformation that we're looking forward to seeing on Jackson's South Side as well. It's an exciting time. We are looking forward to reviewing the responses from the RFP that we put out to actually work with us to get the grocery store built. It may end up being a multi-use building, but ultimately the entire Corridor Authority's goal is to make sure that we end up with a grocery store on the south side, which will probably serve a better part of the community. If we get a nice market over there, it's not far from the downtown loop. It's not not far from all of the new developments that are happening in the community right now. So hopefully it'll be highly supported once we get it done.
Yeah, less than a mile from Ellisharp Park as well.
That's right.
Public safety, that's the number one priority of a community's government, and you addressed that. I think that was the first thing you talked about last week.
Yes, I felt like it was important for us to address that first because, that's one thing that, because we're such a small community, when issues happen, it seemed like it's nonstop. It seems like, oh man, it was just yesterday that something just happened, right? And we don't celebrate the improvements that we've made year over year. In the fact that we said that the GVI is going to be a part of our strategy to reduce violence, specifically gun violence in the community. We had the summit to reduce violence last year, and it's always we don't want to put the cart before the horse and say, well, this is the reason that crime reduced. But we do want to acknowledge that we had a huge reduction in violent crimes over the last year.
So the gun violence numbers, obviously you don't want any gun violence.
That's
but,
right.
A staggering drop.
That's right, a huge drop. Almost 50% in both homicides and guns and bullet to body, so almost 50% in both areas, which is huge. That is huge, and that's not where we want to be. Of course, we still got plenty more work left to do. But just want to give recognition to the chief and all the officers out there serving, and Cheryl, who's the coordinator for GVI, and all the work that they've done, and all of the special units who have made this impact. And anyone who's worked on making sure that their efforts are going towards helping us reduce crime in this community, want to make sure we give them recognition for the work that they've done over the last year.
Well, the mayor talked about quite a few other things. You can see the mayor's address on the City of Jackson website and also at jtv.tv. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
His Honor, the mayor of the City of Jackson, Daniel J. Mahoney. More of the morning